let's get right into it. In this video, I will be reviewing the Itop 40 Plus V1. It is a 64mm flat blind burr grinder sold by Itop on Aliexpress, and it has a price of $350 US. I will be highlighting its features, who it's for, who it's not for, where it's great and where it's not so great. First off, I bought this with my own money. Itop has no say in this. They have no idea I'm making a review of this. I have been using this grinder for 6 months now and I absolutely love it. The unit that I bought is spec'd with Espresso burrs. There's an option for pour over burrs as well, but for this review we'll stick to the Espresso burrs. There's also other versions of the Itop 40 Plus. There is a 63mm conical burr grinder as well, but this is the 64mm flat burr. The burr option when picking your grinder is very important, as the pour over burrs can't do espresso and the espresso burrs can't do pour over. They can't do them at all, never mind well. So think of this as a prime lens or a single driver IEM. It really has a focus. While we are talking about pour over and espresso, in reviews it has been mentioned that the 63mm conical grinder cannot go fine enough for espresso. I will be making a video on how to modify conicals to grind finer, so please subscribe if you don't want to miss it. So what is it? It is a 64mm flat blind burr grinder from the Chinese seller Itop. That means that the coffee grounds are cut by two 64mm flat blind discs or burrs. Additionally, the cutting area has no screw holes, making it a blind burr with more cutting area surface. Although it is sold by Itop, I believe that the manufacturer is called Lingdong, where the model is called the 029V. Now, some of you might be thinking, wait a minute, this is an SD40. We've seen so many videos of it. But yeah, this is without a doubt a 64mm flat burr grinder, and it's made by the same people that made the SD40, again possibly Lingdong. It is also not the Itop 64 that has a 250 watt AC motor that is quite loud. This has a 300 watt DC brushless motor, and it is much quieter. The most notable features of this grinder is a variable RPM all the way from 600 RPM all the way to 1500 RPM, and as mentioned, it has a 300 watt DC brushless motor. It is quite powerful. Most grinders in this price range will only go up to 250 watts. It also has a working plasma generator to help against clogging and to help with retention. It has a grind timer, as you can see here. And it has Stepless grind adjustment, which I'm not going to touch now because I will get shocked. More on that later. So who is this for? This is for someone that just got started in espresso, or someone that already has a cheap grinder but wants more from their espresso. I will, however, say that the stock burrs are absolutely not for people who drink mostly dark roast coffee. It's not that it's bad at dark roast, it's just that you can get similar or better espresso from a much cheaper grinder. If you mostly drink light to medium roast Arabica, then this grinder could be for you, as it produces great tasting sweet espresso. Okay, so who else is it not for? Well, this is definitely not for someone that wants a no-fuss grinder. So I got the grinder and I used it for a week and noticed that the consistency wasn't as good as I hoped. So I opened it up, had a look, and the grinder was pre-aligned, but the pre-alignment wasn't perfect. So I went and spent half an hour and I perfected the alignment. And then after that, the espresso was way better and insanely consistent. So yeah, I cannot recommend this if you are not willing to open this up and perfectly align the burrs, or either send it to a professional or a friend to align it for you. It really makes a world of a difference. It is also slightly messy without RDT, so it's got a working plasma generator, and as long as you stick a vacuum cleaner up the exit chute and make a seal with your hand, it will continue to work. The exit chute can also get fines externally from the bellows blowing fines up and onto the exit chute. And finally, this grinder is not for anyone that wants a consistent dose from the grind timer. This grinder has no auger, so grind by time is not very consistent. I will, however, say that conical grinders are more consistent in weight with grind by time, and that is just purely to their design. I know I keep on saying budget, but unfortunately 64mm grinders in this class cost quite a bit. In a future video, I will talk about another white label grinder that can be had under 100 US dollars. It's just not in this class. But enough about all of that. Let's talk about the most important thing. Does it make tasty espresso? Yes, it does. The espresso burrs that come with this grinder really excels at extracting sweet, caramel and fruity flavors. I have used a variety of beans with this grinder, but it really excels at light to medium Arabica and even does a decent job with medium to dark mixed beans. Even supermarket beans claiming to taste like white toast tasted like white toast. I know, if that's not the indicator of a good grinder, then I don't know what is. So yeah, check your coffee tasting notes. If it mentions sweet, fruity, nutty, caramel, or even white toast flavors, then throw it in this bad boy. While we are talking about burrs, there are two sets of screw holes for burrs on this grinder. One set of 3 holes for the installed blind burr, and another 2 holes that are smaller in diameter, closer to the center and opposite of each other. Unfortunately, I do not have any other 64mm burrs to test with this grinder. I know that Lance Hendrick had a video on the similar Itop 64 and he couldn't fit any other burrs onto it. So I'm hoping that the 2 sets of holes now fixes that issue. How is it to use and how is the workflow? The grinder is simple and straightforward. Grind size adjustment is stepless and can be controlled from the top. Grind adjustment feels very similar to adjusting focus on a well-made manual focus lens. Not too light, meaning accidental adjustment won't happen easily. Grind adjustment creep from grinding is virtually nothing. Just make sure you properly tighten this screw here. Luckily the grinder comes with a set of Mac quality Allen keys for all screws on the grinder. If you have your own set of Allen keys, just use those. They will likely be better quality. Grinding is pretty quick and the grind timer does free up your hands for other prep work. How easy is dialing in? Dialing in is really easy once the burrs are aligned, and this is thanks to the Stepless grind adjustment and the really strong motor. I've had dialing in nightmares of other grinders, but this was easy and pain-free. Calibrating your burr touch point is relatively easy. It is done by unscrewing a Allen key screw hole here and then adjusting this to the touch point. Let's talk about the variable RPM. As mentioned, this grinder has no auger, so adjusting the RPM will have a small effect on the grind size distribution. In my testing, higher speeds give more fines and lower speeds give less fines. The effect is very small and not as pronounced as you would think. For me, in my high humidity area, I find that 1300 RPM works the best. The build quality of the grinder is also amazing. Things that come to mind when I think of the build quality are German tanks or my Tavai appliances. I have no doubt that this will outlast every non-Tavai appliance that I own. The DC brushless motor is also incredibly powerful. I do cold or hard starts on this. I know, hate me in the comments. That's me, that's the way I like it. You do you, but yeah, I do cold starts and it has no issues even with light pins. A nice added benefit of the brushless motor is that it is incredibly quiet. Here is a sample. There were some beans still in. There was still a bit of grounds in the grinder there, but yeah, it is very, very quiet. So what do I dislike about the grinder? So as mentioned, this grinder likes to shock you. I still haven't found out all the causes of it constantly shocking me and my wife, but I do know that when the exit should clog, that it definitely shocks you. So cleaning this every week is a good idea. If you know more about the shocking or if it's just my unit, please comment below. It's driving me nuts. Using the bellers can get insanely messy as it can send fines flying up. And lastly, I wish the Burr alignment was better out of the factory. My unit came pre-aligned and it was pretty good, but I just wish it was a little bit better, that it would actually be consistent. But I cannot recommend this grinder if you're not willing to do the Burr alignment, or if the Burr alignment is not better out of the factory. It really, really, really makes a world of a difference. And finally, is it worth the $350 asking price? Well, this depends on what value or what price you put on your coffee. But this is the only grinder in this price range with a 64mm flat blind Burr grinder and a strong 300 watt DC brushless motor. All the other grinders are normal 64mm flat Burrs, and they have a 250 watt motor max. Not to mention things like the grind timer and the RPM control. Then there are also other considerations such as shipping, levies and duties, import taxes, and returns. Before I bought this unit, I went and had a look at the sales and returns history of Itop on Aliexpress and noticed they had a really good return policy. But yeah, if you're not buying this from Itop directly or Itop on Aliexpress, then do check the seller and check their shipping, duties, taxes, and return policies. You also have to ask yourself whether you want a 64mm flat Burr. There are many amazing conical grinders below the best price point, and they might even have local support in your country. As a final note, if you are buying this from AliExpress, make sure that you are buying this from Itop or a reputable reseller. Also make sure that you are speccing your grinder correctly. As mentioned, there are two sets of flat Burrs, espresso or pour over, and there is also a conical version. So please, please, please make sure that you spec it correctly. It really is easy to mess this up in configuration. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you found the info useful, and I hope you have a great day. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe, and remember to phone your friends, phone your family. It might even make your day, and it will definitely make their day. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Is done by a single again.